Canada, Mexico, and China didn't start the tariff war, but they're going to end it. My fear is they're going to end the American economy along with it. Canada, which supplies the fuel line, the power, the infrastructure for America's own manufacturing capacity, they're threatening to cut off the power grid and all of the electricity they supply to places like Michigan and Minnesota and New York, two of which were red states this time around. At the same time, pushing Mexico and Canada into the arms of China. And China retaliating against America and America's farmers, particularly, trying to crush them and America's technology and those things we need for our own national defense in a retaliatory strike. We got a supply chain war going on, started by Donald Trump. At the exact same time, the first 44 days, he started all the other wars against the federal workers, against aid, humanitarian aid. Every one of these things has a human person behind it, a human being behind it, and a paycheck. And what do you do? What happens when you do all these things at the same time? Well, you know what happened to the economy, consumer confidence, and manufacturers' confidence. I break it all down for you on Popok Live. Take a listen. Tariff wars, it's not a war of our choosing. Donald Trump started the war for no reason, and now other countries like Canada, Mexico, and China are going to end it. What I'm afraid of, it's going to end the American economy to go along with it. Why do you start a tariff war? I have no good reason. I'm a free trade person. I understand that the number one economic advantage that we have against the rest of the world is that we can produce more goods and services once our economic engine is stoked than any other country. Why would we possibly give that economic advantage up and make our country insular and make our manufacturers and our plants and our factories and our service providers look only inward for consumption? Donald Trump said in a callous way, almost like Marie Antoinette, farmers, get ready to be selling your products only in America. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. I mean, good luck and good riddance. Say goodbye to the farm belt, the corn belt, the soybean belt, the chicken belt. We were manufacturing until just yesterday. We were manufacturing enough excess to supply the rest of the world. And now Donald Trump has decided, because he wants to kick China in the nuts about fentanyl, and Canada in the nuts about fentanyl, where they don't have a drug overdose problem on the Canadian border, and go after Mexico to act like a tough guy. What's been the impact? It's an indirect tax on the American consumer. As Warren Buffett so eloquently put it, this is not a tariff war, this is an active war. And somebody's got to pay the tariff. There's no tariff ferry. It gets paid by the American consumer in the way of an indirect tax. It could be the largest tax increase on the history of America, $1,200 on every family, while Donald Trump talks tonight, I presume, about the need to cut corporate taxes. Sure. We have trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. The Chinese basically own our treasury market and our debt market. And now is the time to cut taxes. Bring jobs home. Bring jobs home from where? Jobs are already here. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates in history. We have the highest job efficiency rate in American history. Where are we bringing the jobs home from? Most jobs are remote today. I don't know if Donald Trump fell asleep like Rip Van Winkle during COVID, but, it changed life as we know it. Sure, financial services, banks and others want to have all their employees back 5 days a week, 5 times, what is it called? 7 times 5 or whatever it is. But the rest of the world woke up and it changed, like when the meteor hit the planet Earth and the dinosaurs disappeared. You can see I fell asleep a little bit during world history. But tariff war, as Canada stands up, I never thought I would see a day after Trudeau sort of lost the confidence of the Canadian people, where I think the voters in Canada want their vote back. I think Trudeau could end up winning again if he ran. I don't want to see him leave the world stage. He's doing a great job punching a bully in the face. I mean, I have an internal and external smile every time I see Justin Trudeau take the podium. And I love when he says things like, I don't do a good Justin Trudeau. I know that Donald Trump claims to be some sort of smart businessman, but his tariff policies are just plain dumb. And when you hear us booing in Canada, we're not booing for you, Americans. We're booing for the policies. We're booing for Trump. And we're not going to allow you to make us a second-class country in our own country. We're not going to allow you to belittle us and insult our national pride. We're not going to let you turn us into the 51st state. It'll never happen. Instead, we are going to, with a smile on our face, this is now Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, we're going to cut your fuel supply. Click. The sound you hear is Michigan, Minnesota, and New York going dark because that's where they got a lot of their imported electric and power supply and power grid from. Canada, let me try this again. Canada supplies an overwhelming amount of imported fuel, electric, power grid that fuels our plants and factories. We need Canada to make our products. Get it? It's that simple, Trump. And by cutting it and fighting a war with them over a phony drug crisis at the Canadian border, anybody that's been to the Canadian border knows there's no drug crisis there, and a phony border problem. There's no border problem in Canada. Has he been to the Canadian border? I have. I've driven over it, driven through it, and flown over it, and checked out through it. This is not a problem. Mexico, slightly different story, but that was before Claudia Sheinbaum got serious about it. And now let her run from an autonomous standpoint and an independent standpoint and a sovereign standpoint. Let her run her own country, right? Who are we? We're in no moral position to tell other countries how to run their countries. So Canada now has said, you want to pick a fight with us? We'll pick a fight with you. Donald Trump fights back today and says, oh, Governor Trudeau. I mean, third grade trolling, low grade trolling, really? Governor Trudeau, if you do that to us, we'll double ours. Okay. I mean, all they're doing is chasing Canada, Mexico, and China, putting them together in a trading bloc I never thought I'd see before, and uniting the rest of the world economically against America. So the Europeans have to join together in secret meetings because they got to support Zelensky, I'll talk about in a minute, and they got to support each other. From an economic standpoint, the European Union was falling apart under democratic policies. We just reinvigorated it. We just brought them back together again. If I'm the UK, I vote again on Brexit and rejoin the European Union to oppose Donald Trump. There's an idea. So how's the first 44 days going for you? As the American consumer says, I don't like tariff wars. I don't understand tariff wars. They're going to raise my prices. And Donald Trump's going to look us in the eye today and lie to us and tell us he knows what he's doing. He can no longer be trusted, nor his administration, with being stewards of our economy. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, said today, you can't look to the stock market as an indicator of the economy. Really? The guy next to you, the guy, over there, POTUS, Trump, he said time and time again, you always look to the stock market. And look what he's done to it. It's in shambles. That's a new podcast at the intersection of law and politics on Tuesday nights on the Midas Touch Network. Join me, Michael Popok, for about an hour long. We got a great community. We got about 15 to 20,000 with us in the live chat. I answer questions. I take questions. I give answers. I don't pull punches. I'm uncensored. I'm unfiltered, sometimes unhinged. Join me, Popok, live every Tuesday night. And then, of course, Wednesdays and Saturdays, we got the OG podcast, Legal AF, and Legal AF, the YouTube channel that you're on right now. Take a minute, hit the subscribe button, and tell the algorithmic gods that this is the kind of content that you want. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.